I do want to get to this next topic. I don't want to forget about this person, because if you forget about this person, she will cry. Demi Lovato needs a lot of attention.
Yes.
And by golly, we are going to give it to her today. We are going to give her the attention she is looking for.
Them.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Them is the proper English way to address.
Right. I trended for 24 hours for saying that these non-binary they/them pronouns are just poor English. 24 hours I trended because people were outraged that I said that referring to a singular individual as them is not proper. But Demi Lovato wants you guys to know that she's officially changed her pronouns because she has come to her truth. And let's watch the clip.
Living in the fourth dimension means existing consciously in both time and space. But for me, it means having conversations that transcend the typical discourse. I want to take this moment to share something very personal with you. Over the past year and a half, I've been doing some healing and self-reflective work. And through this work, I've had the revelation that I identify as non-binary. With that said, I'll officially be changing my pronouns to they, them. I feel that this best represents the fluidity I feel in my gender expression and allows me to feel most authentic and true to the person I both know I am and still am discovering.
There's a lot of words in that.
Fourth dimension. What dimension are you guys in, by the way?
At least 23.
After watching that, I'm back to the first, actually, after having to watch all that. I will add, too, you know when this announcement came out? The day her new podcast premiered.
Yes.
It just so happened that she felt the courage to tell the world about this new life update.
She was having to read from a prompter. There's no way she got all those words right that she was supposed to say.
Graham, that was her truth that you're talking about.
That's her truth.
That was her truth.
My truth.
And that's the problem. There is no her truth. There is no your truth. There is the truth.
Right.
And that's the biggest issue is we are allowing society, especially elite Hollywood celebrities, musicians, etc., just dilute our children. That's what's happening here, okay? Rational adults, and yes, I say this all the time, people get real mad at me when I say real Americans. Oh, you're racist, you said. No, when I say real Americans, I mean rational thinking Americans. They don't believe any of this stuff. They're like, that's the craziest thing I've ever
because
heard.
here's the thing. We all grew up. How many non-binary children did you have in your classrooms growing up?
There's no way of knowing.
How are there this many?
Negative one.
How are there this many? Because this is the thing, you're teaching people this. This is not normal for a person to go up and go, I'm non-binary, I'm gender fluid, and yet now the media is trying to tell you that this is normal and you should come into your truth. And it drives me crazy because at the end of the day, all they want is attention. Demi Lovato needs a hug.
It's going to impact us soon, too. It's really easy to look at this and have the first reaction, well, how does this impact me? Let them do their thing. I don't really care that much.
Pronoun use.
But it is going to impact us. There is going to be compulsory speech that comes along with this. If you look at the progression of other countries ahead of us, Canada, the UK, it has become compulsory speech where it is now going to be illegal to use pronouns. If you think that's not going to happen in America, you haven't paid attention to history, recent history in the last few years. That's how this is going to affect all of us. And that's why we shouldn't just sit on the sidelines and say, well, they can do their own thing, whatever, because it's not just them sitting alone living their lives. This is going to be pushed out onto
California's already doing
it. It's frustrating because the left does this. They will shoehorn these political progressive agendas down people's throats, and then the minute that conservatives push back, they'll say, why are you so obsessed with them?
Right.
Why do you why are you so obsessed with the culture war? How does it affect you? Meanwhile, conservatives are not the ones who are mandating pronoun usage by law. And I'm sorry, but if we are living in clown world where the idea that something as crazy as non-binary genders actually exists, and I know that's a little bit mean toward Demi Lovato, but nothing I can say can ever come close to her doing those bangs to herself.
You know what? I blame Wilmer Valderrama. I feel like that was her chance to be saved when he was dating her, and she kind of seemed like she was getting her stuff together. And this is what I say. This is the course to me when you experiment with feminism for too long. You produce a crazy person. You know what I mean? And it's like feminism. I always say it's like a drug you try when you're in college, right? You got to stop doing that drug when you leave college. This is what happens when somebody just keeps playing with feminism and keeps playing with leftism and keeps playing with liberalism. They end up just going, how can I get attention? I'm non-binary. And she's constantly doing stuff for attention. Don't forget, she was in the news last week for some other ridiculousness. She was complaining about the yogurt shops that are selling diet ice cream.
Come out soon.
She also said this week, it is harmful. Demi Lovato is not okay with people that compliment others on their bodies. It's like, what do you need? What sort of attention? Why can't people compliment one another? They're miserable, and in my opinion, it's too much therapy, right? It's like the therapists are making people crazy.
And I think this is kind of the example that should be pointed to when Jordan Peterson talks about how we need to improve ourselves before we improve the rest of the world. You know, you've talked about things like mental health of celebrities, like Lindsay Lohan, was it Courtney
Stodden, yeah.
Right, and I look at this person and it's like, this is someone who, I'm not being mean, actually I think needs some sort of counseling, right? She's unhappy with herself and she's trying to project that to the rest of the world, and it's not going to end well for her as a person.
Go ahead.
You can you can tell where the lack of happiness and the pursuit of happiness is in the fact that this is now the 4th gender identity she's had in the last 2 years. She was straight for a while, then she became queer, and then she said she was I think she said pansexual was her 3rd, and now this is 4th. So I think there is this constant pursuit of identity and longing. Honestly, it makes you sad to see it, and attention.
And attention. It's the best way to get attention.